Hello and welcome to the Utah Puck Report. I'm your host, Jay Stevens. Crazy weather day, so we went from having 4 people in studio to just me and my special guest today from the Utah Grizzlies, Lukáš Pařík.
Hey, how's it going?
I know I didn't say it right.
That's good.
You were just tutoring me on how to say it, and you're from. Tell me where you grew up.
So I grew up in a small city, like 50 minutes up north from Prague. It was a really small city, but I grew up there with my family and my brother, and I could not complain. Like I was in Prague probably every day because that's where I played hockey.
Okay.
So Prague is gorgeous, and I always love to go back there just to see everything always again.
And you were telling us like Czech is the second hardest language in Europe to speak and learn.
It is, yeah.
For everybody that's listening, and just so you know, like every super Grizzlies fan or Grizzlies super fan is going to listen to this, here's your chance to tell them how to say your name.
So the right way to pronounce it is Lukáš Pařík, but we have like a rolling R there, so that's like just super tough to pronounce in general.
Yeah, Pařík.
This is like the biggest difference because
so
you cannot roll the R.
Right.
And so the letter you're saying is a Z with something above it, and we are saying R with something above it.
Okay.
So there's like a slight difference, but like in the pronunciation, you guys will not probably even hear it. But for us, it's like a huge difference.
I thought I was being pretty fancy just saying Pařík instead of Parík.
Yeah, I'm good with Parík, yeah.
Okay, so basically you're growing up in the Czech Republic, and like you said, you're 40 minutes drive, so
15
minutes.
15 minutes up north from Prague.
Okay. And are there not rinks right around you, or that's where the better hockey is?
That's kind of where the better hockey is. So our city is like only 16,000 people in there.
Yeah.
So it's really small, and like the Prague was the... I used to play in a city called Kralupy, kind of same distance, but still not as big hockey. And my brother used to play hockey as well, and he kind of still plays. And so I always moved wherever he moved because he was older, so kind of we had priority on him. So he played in Kralupy first, so then I started playing too. Then he moved to Prague, so of course I had to move with him because my mom was driving us everywhere. Shout out to my mom. So, so she was driving us everywhere, and so I moved to Prague as well, and I was there until actually I was 15, 16 years old before I signed my contract in a different city in Czech, and I moved away from my parents.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 16, 15 years old.
Okay, all right. So it's, I know a little bit about it because I've played with other Czechs and we've talked or whatever, but I guess I just don't realize all of us have to move away at 14, 15, 16 if unless you live in a hockey hotbed. But even those guys, like even if you're in Alberta, you got to go wherever, when you're 15, wherever you're going to play juniors or midgets.
Yeah, I would say just like the way the hockey goes,
Yeah.
So I was happy. So we had some offers. We were deciding if to go 1 hour away or to go 5 hours away. So of course my parents said 1 hour away because it's easier for them.
Yeah.
And actually the first year when I was away, I still had my school back at home. So I had to go every Monday and Friday to school.
Oh, geez.
So I was driving bus like back and forth like every Monday and Friday. So the first year was very tough. For the second year, actually my last year in Czech, I transitioned to different schools so I could just be playing hockey, mostly focus on that, and just be finishing high school at that point.
Yeah, that's crazy. So at what point do you decide you're going to make the jump to the U.S.? Because you played in the USHL.
I played, so my first year was in WHL, and it was right after I got drafted.
Oh, really?
So I got drafted in 2019 to LA Kings.
As an 18-year-old?
As an 18-year-old.
Okay.
And I remember like it was yesterday. I was at home, and my agent just texted me like, hey, just hope you have your phone ready. Like, oh yeah, like it was like start of the third round. And official NHL predictions were like, oh, you're going 5th, 6th round. Like, yeah. So, I have time. So I was watching it. I was like, okay, it's, I at least want to shower before if I somehow came on the TV. So I went to shower and it was like start of the third round. And as I'm ending shower, like my agent just gave me calls like, hey, you just been drafted to LA Kings. I was like, there's no way. It's like third round. Like, no way I just been drafted. So I ran, literally just put a towel around me, just ran out of the bathroom into the living room. And my mom, my dad was like, you're all wet, get back. It's like, no, just give me a second. And so like the name popped on the TV. I was like, okay, I just been officially drafted in the third round.
That's crazy. That's pretty, I can't even imagine. I dreamed about it. Well, when I was 18, I wasn't even close to being drafted, or ever in my life wasn't close to being drafted. But I just can't even imagine what it's like. And then you go way earlier than you thought you were going to go. Had you had discussions with the LA Kings? Had you talked to?
I had meeting with out I think it's 31 teams in NHL.
Yeah.
It used to be. Now it's 32.
It was 30. Now it's 30.
30.
Now it's 32.
So now it's 30. Yeah. And I had probably a meeting with 27 of them.
Oh, really?
LA Kings never were there.
Really?
I never had a meeting with LA Kings. I remember seeing a guy with LA Kings jacket in the stands at some point, and probably also at World U18s because that's probably when I got noticed the most.
Yeah.
But I've never had a meeting with LA Kings. So that was kind of my biggest surprise because I had a meeting with Nashville that I actually met the guy from Nashville when I was coming back from First World Juniors, and I met him on the airport in Chicago because he was coming to Spokane as well. And I had a discussion when he was like LA Kings took you from us, like we wanted you. I was like, okay, like is it like then it's like good back to hear it, from the people. It's like
it's good to know you're wanted.
I didn't even know like LA Kings wanted me or at general like nothing.
Who was your team growing up? Did you have a favorite NHL team?
I did not like have specifically NHL team like
just players. You like focus on players?
Yeah. So like in Czech, it's also like bad time. We have 8 hours ahead of you guys here, so it's just tough to watch NHL. It's usually 1 or 2 in the morning to watch it. And it's like as a kid growing up, you have to be asleep because you're waking up to school. But I used to watch Jonathan Quick a lot with Brodeur.
Oh, cool.
So like I like the olds, like of course Hasek, like those are legends. Like I love those guys. Also Henrik Lundqvist, like those are legends for me, and I always loved like watching them. So when then I got to LA because I got drafted, and literally I got called like 11 p.m. It's like, hey, are you okay to fly at 5 a.m? Wow. The very next day, it's like it doesn't look like I will not say no. Like it's not like I have a choice, so of course I will say yes. So I like packed up my stuff. I slept probably like 1 hour. I got to LA Kings and we didn't practice with the NHL guys, but they were there because they were getting ready. And like I saw them and I saw Quickie. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And to watch him, like I've been a Quick fan for years, and I remember it was Quick and not Bernier. Was it Bernier? I'm trying to think of who the other. But the Kings had a point where they had 2 goalies. They're like, which one are we going to go with? Which one are we going to go with? And I was watching it, and I was like, man, they seem pretty even. And then when Quick got that fire and kind of revolutionized the RVH and all that stuff, because he's the one that brought that into the NHL and that quick poke check from around the net, some of the stuff that he brought, and then being super aggressive as a goalie. Because forever as a goalie for like my generation, which, is 30 generations ago. But like Marty Brodeur, we're about the same age. Patrick Waugh's a little bit older than me. But those guys were like, okay, they maybe were a little more aggressive with the butterfly, but they were still like, all right, you always you make the shooter make the first move. And, you're just retreating with them, but you don't commit till they make the first move. And Jonathan Quick's like, no, I'm just going to be super aggressive, and I may make the first 2 moves and make the shooter change what he was going to do. I remember watching an interview with him, and he's like I'm better than Quick. This is Jonathan Quick saying, I'm better than that guy. I'm gonna decide what he does.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, goalies have never talked about that stuff. So to be there with him as you're 18 years old and you're watching Jonathan Quick, and they just won the cup, right?
No.
What year?
It was 2019.
Okay.
So
All right.
that was 2012. They won the last cup.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay. So, but you're still seeing Stanley Cup champions on the ice, and then did you get to go through the rookie tournament? Is that where they flew you out there?
Yeah, I went for the so we had the first camp was in summer. That was just development camp. Then we flew back. Then I joined my team in WH because during the camp I actually got drafted WHL because it's a little bit different for us guys. We have import draft after NHL draft. Oh. So during the time I was in on the LA Kings camp, I got drafted WHL. So after that I flew back home. Then in August, I believe it was like 14th, something like that, because I had to fill it up everywhere always.
Right, yeah.
So I joined Spokane Chiefs for the first camp, and then I fly to LA Kings for the Rocky tournament.
Yeah.
And there was one guy that grew to my heart probably the most out of the old guys, and it was Jeff Carter, is currently in Pittsburgh Penguins, because on the first camp and on the second camp, he was still there, and he was the guy that actually helped me to kind of took care of me. Like, just to show me around, like, talk to me. Like, it made me felt so welcome in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was just unreal. Just, like, you're just talking to these big guys, like, never met them. But, like, they really took care of me, and that helped me a lot.
I've heard that a lot about him. I got to meet him at Trevor Lewis's Stanley Cup party a couple times, and he always seemed like a pretty down-to-earth guy. A lot of those guys, even Doughty, who just seems crazy most of the time.
He is.
Like one-on-one, he's a very down-to-earth, very personable, very caring person, yeah. That's just an amazing ride you're going on so far. So, Spokane, did you know about the WHL? Did you plan on playing major juniors? Or
So we knew. So my decision before the draft was like, okay, we are going to CHL. We don't know what league, but we are going to CHL. So it's kind of different for import guys because you want a specific team to draft you, and you don't want any other team before them to draft you. So it's usually from the worst team going to the best team. So the worst team from the seasons are going first, and the best team that won the whole CHL are going the very last.
Right.
So you're trying to technically go at the last of the first round because it's only 2 rounds. So you're trying to go at the last place or the very last positions. So the way it works, you're trying to tell some teams like, okay, we don't want to go to CHL, so they don't draft you.
Oh, okay.
And you're just talking to some teams like, okay, he actually wants to go to CHL, but we need to play it some way.
Yeah, a little bit of a smoke screen, yeah.
So we had 2 teams. One of them, they did a trade, so they got actually Jacob Ingham from Mississauga, and he went to OHL to Rangers. I don't know, their Kitchener Rangers.
Yep.
So that was our first choice, and then our choice was Spokane. And I was happy with Spokane because I heard better things about WHL. It's more compact game than OHL.
Yeah.
I would say more physical, more. I would say it gets you more prepared for the NHL.
Okay.
It is also for goalies because there's a lot of defense. I would say at some points in OHL, sometimes there's no defense, but it's just my opinion. I never played there, so I cannot tell.
Well, and notoriously that's what it is. A lot of the skill guys come out of the O, and a lot of the tougher guys and better goalies come out of the dub.
Yeah, so that's just what I heard. So I heard about Spokane, then when I got drafted, I was super happy because that was also Jared Anderson-Dolan back in the day. That he actually was one of the first guys that congratulated me to being drafted to Spokane. So I talked with him a little bit because he was there the previous year. And the year I came there, he was already part of LA Kings. So he kind of described me how it works there and told me some things about it that helped me a lot. So I kind of was coming into Spokane already knowing some stuff. But it's like, okay, it's my first time actually being away from family, actually being overseas. So everything was new, Like also for me, English is not primary language.
Right.
I have Czech, that's my primary language, and like we somehow study English at schools, but they will never teach you how to speak fluently. Like they will give you vocabulary and when to use what tenses and stuff, like whatever. It will never teach you how to speak fluently. So like luckily, show friends helped me insanely.
You're not the first person I've heard that from, too. Yeah.
A lot of people are asking why friends. There's everyday conversations.
Yeah.
Like there's everyday questions that are being asked, like usually on daily basis. So you'll learn it. Like you're watching it. So usually you start with your own language and just having English subtitles. Then you switch to listening to it in English and having the subtitles. Then you just turn up the subtitles. Like that's usually how it goes.
Wow.
I would say you can.
Friends is a Rosetta Stone.
I would actually say you can learn any language out of it because the Friends are probably one of the actually best shows that you can actually watch. So I was coming to the USA, I was like, okay, knowing a little bit of an English, but I was like, okay, I need to be talking with people, so I learned how to speak fluently and stuff, so like kind of get more comfortable. So literally the first moment I arrived, his name was, we called him Catfish. It was our equipment manager. He picked me up at the airport. He drove me to the arena, and I already met up with head coaches and owners, and I was like, okay, this is like... So I was talking with them. They're like, we're happy you're actually talking. Like a lot of guys that comes from Europe, they're super quiet. They don't want to talk because sometimes they don't know, and it's usually Russians. They don't know sometimes how to talk, and it's okay. They're forced kind of speaking Russian. So, and I came there. I was like, okay, I need to talk with them, and I was talking with them. They were like super excited about it. I like actually was talking with them. So I was sitting with them for the very first day for like an hour. Then I went to my billets, and my billets were great. I couldn't complain.
Yeah. Now you got to live with billets. You got to learn American culture. And how weird is that? Are there a lot of different cultures? Like, is there a culture shock as far as things that Americans do different in their houses, like at dinner time or whatever? And I don't even know what kind of people you live with. That's different house to house, right? But was there a lot of different things for you?
The food is, I would say, like a little bit more. The right word probably to use would be greasier.
Unhealthy? Yeah,
more
that's what
unhealthy,
I was thinking, yeah.
So we have like a food standards in Czech we have to follow every restaurant. So like, for example, McDonald's. its biggest example I always ever use, McDonald's.
Right.
In Europe, it tastes like 10 times better. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
It is so good.
See, now, every time I'm in another country, I'm like, oh, thank God there's a McDonald's. I'm going to go eat at McDonald's. And then I'm like, this doesn't taste right.
It tastes very different. Like, I would say there's so much oil in the USA one.
Yeah.
Probably the best McDonald's, one of the best McDonald's is either Czech or Russia.
Yeah.
Because one time we were on tournament going to Russia, and on the airport we had McDonald's. It was unreal. Like, it literally was like out of restaurant. I'm not even joking. It was like out of the restaurant. So
all right. I never realized that's what was going on. But I just read that McDonald's was pulling out of Russia.
Yep, because of the Russian-Ukraine war. Yeah. A lot of stores, like Nike and other stuff is coming out of Russia. Or they are just renaming it so they are not branded as Nike.
Oh, wow. Interesting. You see, I'm rocking my...
I saw...
My Ukraine shirt today from Violent Gentleman.
I love
this
that.
Is a guy that played in the NHL. He played for the Kings. Now he was a fighter, and he was... I don't know. Anyway, he was a legendary fighter, George Peros, and now he runs the health and safety for the NHL, which is funny. But he has this Violent Gentleman, keep fighting in hockey type deal, and he's sent a ton of money to the Ukraine to try to help. Anyway, I just thought that was a cool thing and I got this shirt just to kind of
I love that.
send my $2 towards Ukraine. All right, so you're learning that McDonald's isn't as good, and you say that we have different food standards. That we definitely do. In the firehouse too, we were just talking about this. Because we have to cook for each other, and we have some people like the younger guys coming in. I'm hitting 25 years on the fire department this year, and we have younger guys that are coming in and they're healthy, and when we came in, we were healthier than the generation before us because my generation didn't smoke, and when I first walked into the firehouse, it was like baked down. There was smoke everywhere, so there was bad stuff on the TV, and anyway, so we have this standard we were just talking about. We're like a lot of the people that are healthier. We say the older guys will make fun of them, like, oh, look at you over there eating lettuce instead of meat, and look at you not having bacon. And I don't know. It's just funny how every generation has a different standard.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you go from the dub to the USHL? Is that your choice or just...
No. So I was in WHL the whole year. And so I was at World Juniors in Czech. Great experience. I had Lukáš Pařík, that is AHL star right now. He's unreal goalie, unreal guy. Like, I was so happy to be with him, part of the World Junior team. Even though it didn't work out as we wanted, we got out against Sweden in quarterfinals, and it just happened. And so I was there for the rest of the year, and then it was like March, whatever it was, 14th, 13th. It was right before my birthday, and COVID happened.
Oh.
So I was kind of... So I had to fly back because COVID happened. Everything was getting closed down, shut down. So I had to fly back to Czech. Everything was shut down as well in Czech. It was probably even worse in Czech than here. Like, everything was closed. Like, you couldn't buy anything. Like, you were happy you could buy food, and it was rough. So I was in Czech throughout the summer. We were having literally like national team tournaments or games playing in Slovakia, and I remember, because it happened in summer in August, and we were coming back from the games. We got home, and doctor texted us to our group chat like, "Hey, we have COVID. Like, you guys need to get tested." 28 out of 28 guys, 26 got tested positive.
Oh man!
Only me and other goalie believe so. We got tested negative. Like, I didn't have COVID yet.
Yeah.
I'll need to knock on.
You've never had it.
Never had it.
Okay.
I've been through probably over 200 tests. And I've never had it, because then when World Juniors was in Edmonton, we had to get tested every single day.
Right.
And I never got tested positive. So coming back to summer, so WHL wasn't starting. We were getting told, oh, it's starting in September, oh, it's starting in October, and it's been getting postponed. And we're like, okay. So I started my year in Czech, playing second highest pro league for Benátky, already the team I played before I went to WHL. So I kind of knew the coaches, knew the players whatsoever. So I started there. I was kind of getting ready for World Juniors. Then I went to World Juniors Edmonton. And after World Juniors, I came back to Czech, and they wanted to play other guy because he was supposed to get ready for World U18s. I was like, okay, I totally understand. You did the same thing for me. I understand you want to do it for him. So what is the plan for me right now? So we're kind of sitting on the rock right now, just practicing with whoever was there. So I was just sitting usually in my room. I was like, okay, what is going to happen now? And it was like Monday, 2 a.m. I got a call from my agent. I was like, hey, there's a chance you could go in USHL if you'd want to. I was like, I just want to play. Like, if it's USHL, NHL, whatever, I want to play. Just get me there. It was literally Monday, 2 a.m. And he was like, okay, you have your visa from Spokane. We'll just do some stuff around it. It'll be fine. Like, you'll be fine with that visa. I'll just tell them whatsoever. And he was like, okay, but you need to get tested and stuff. And it was like Monday, 2 a.m. It's like halfway asleep, you know. Like, he just called me. It woke me. I was like, it's Monday. Like, it will not be anything until probably next week. It was Thursday that I flew over.
Wow.
Thursday, 6 a.m. I was on a plane to Dubuque.
Yeah.
It happened so quickly. Like, I was moved in Liberec, where I played. I have all my stuff there late Monday, and I called my parents, like, as soon as I woke up in the morning. I was like, hey, you know, Alan just called me. There's a chance, like, slight chance I'm going to go to USHL. Like, oh, okay, so what do we need to do? It's like, okay, we just need to get tested, probably move me back home to get packed and stuff. I probably packed out, like, Wednesday in the morning to go home just to get tested, and we didn't expect to hear anything for, like, another 2 to 3 days.
Right.
And literally, he called me in the afternoon of Wednesday. He's like, so you get tested and everything? It's like, yeah, I got all my tests, but, like, we're still waiting for your information. It's like, okay, you have a flight at 6 a.m.
Jeez.
So shock for everybody. Shock for my family because, okay, suddenly we have to pack. We need to organize all the stuff around it because it's not just for us to move somewhere. Like, you have big luggage, you have a hockey, but you have all the stuff you have to take care of.
Right.
Your insurance, like, everything, you just have to take care of it. So flew in on Thursday at like 4 p.m. Head coach picked me up. Super nice guy, Oliver David. Super nice. I believe he's coaching in Europe, in Swiss right now.
Yeah, I know Oliver from a long time ago. Great guy. Yeah,
really nice guy. So he picked me up at the airport. We were driving for like an hour or two because I flew, I believe, to Cedar Rapids, so an hour away from Dubuque. So we drive to Dubuque. He was like, "Oh, we'll just drop off the stuff at the arena," and I was like, "Hey, it's Thursday. I know we have a game tomorrow. I'm probably not playing. I just flew in. It's like, can I just go? I'll probably back up or some stuff. Even though I'd be in a stance, like I want to go a little bit of workout, just to get the flush out, just to flush it all out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can just go to gym because we had gym there. So I worked out for like an hour and a half. I flew in, just got changed, worked out, got showered. Then he was like, okay, I'll just take you to your billets. Love those billets. Like, I'm in contact until now, Jody and Chad. Like, I love those people.
Very cool.
I'm literally in contact with them almost every week, just going back and forth with them. Love those people. They're taking care of me, like making sure I'm all right. I'm always checking on them. It's super nice people. So it was Thursday night. I had teammate Zane Dempsey. He's at the College of Miami, I believe so right now. I'm not 100% sure. Not gonna lie, these colleges are out of my perspective. I have no clue.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So it was Thursday, and no one knew I was supposed to come out of the team. No one knew. No one knew I was coming there.
Really?
I'm not joking. I got in the locker room. Everybody was staring at me like,
"Who's this guy?
Who am I?"
Yeah.
So I then walked like to coach. Is like, yeah, they don't know.
Were there 2 other goalies in the room?
There were 2 other goalies. I was the third one.
Man.
No one knew I was coming.
Yeah.
So I, trying to introduce myself around the locker room. Don't remember any name.
Oh.
I'm horrible with I remember faces. When it comes to names, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I introduced myself around the locker room. Like, everybody's like I'm out of the world. Like, I'm an alien. That's what they're looking at me like. Literally, somebody just showed up there. Some European guy.
Yeah.
So I introduced myself in the locker room, went on a practice, and coach right before the morning game was like, "Hey, you're playing tonight."
No way.
I was like, okay.
Well, you got to figure. I mean, if they're jumping through so many hoops to get you,
they were the last team. They were the last team in the league when I got there. So they were the last team. So
was Peter Menino there? Do you know who Peter Menino is?
No.
Okay. All right. I thought he was coaching there that year.
No. We had. I don't remember the names. I would love to. Like, I remember faces. Really.
That's fine.
So he told me I'm playing tonight. I was like, okay. I knew I'm gonna come there and play 90% of the games. Like, that was the plan for me because that's what my agent told me. It's like, usually agents tell you stuff, but like my agent actually usually holds on to his promise. Like, he tells me you're gonna playing most of the games. You're actually playing most of the games.
Yeah.
If you're playing good, of course. Like, you have to also hold up to your
right
standards. So played it, and we had a morning skate in Dubuque. Then we had to drive to Waterloo. It was like hour and a half drive, 2 hour drive. I honestly
about an hour and a half.
So we drove to Waterloo, played the game. We won 2-1 or 3-1. It was a really good game. Like, it was probably the best season opening game I ever had.
It's good timing.
Actually, not. I had the best one probably this year against Rapid.
Oh yeah.
We'll probably get to it too.
Yeah.
So I played against Waterloo. I had like 36 save, 1 goal out. And like the guys really didn't know me. Like you could tell in the eyes they couldn't trust me because they didn't know who I was. And I was because I thought I was coming there, they were knowing who I was.
Right.
The head coach got to know it like 2 days before I came there that I'm actually coming. Like it actually happened, everything so quickly. So I played the first game, and coach was like, okay, we're going to play Des Moines tomorrow. You're playing again. So I arrived on Thursday night, playing Friday, playing Saturday again. So we're playing Saturday game. We're winning 3-2. And it's like 15 seconds left, and they have power play with goalie called off. So that was 6-on-4.
Yep.
Like, okay, this will either go really good or really bad, real quick. Because usually when you get scored like this, you usually lose in the overtime or shootout. Like usually lose. That's just the way it is, unfortunately, because usually your mentality just goes down for the whole team. Yep. It was 7 seconds left. Shot from her left up circle, bounce off my chest. I covers it. I got slashed 3 times over my glove, and I lost it. I jumped the guy. I straight up jumped the guy. Everybody just started rounding around us. I started fighting the guy, took him down. Other guy was punching me from behind to the back of the head.
Yeah.
I got off the guy, got kicked out of the game, and I got out of the game. And I'm walking to locker room, and the locker room's, it's old stadium. It's kind of not as safe as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm walking to locker room. There's 2 older guys. They could be my dads probably at that point.
Okay, yeah.
And they're standing in front of my locker room. They were calling me like a bad words. Like they were like calling me, and I'm a kid. Like I'm 19, 20 years old, and they were wanting to fight me. They were ready to fight me. And I was like, at the moment, I was like, okay, let's just go. Suddenly, just 2 police officers just came running from behind of me. They're like, okay, you guys out of here. So like they kind of said my ass because like we had 2 grown guys just about to fight me, like 19-year-old guy.
It shouldn't have been allowed down there.
And I was just in the heat of the moment, and I was like, okay, let's just go. So I go in the locker room. Guys, fired up that I fought somebody. Second day I was there. Yeah. The guys are super excited. Coach was like, then coach walked in the locker room. I was like, you're probably gonna get suspended. It's like kind of expected.
Did you throw your block? Were you punching with your blocker?
Yeah, I don't know if I dropped my. I feel like I dropped my glove, but I'm not sure if I dropped my blocker.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
That's the one that usually gets you suspended. Is punching with your blocker.
So it's different for goalies. You get suspended either way. If you fight, it's suspension either way. As long as you fight, it's suspension.
Okay.
You don't even have to. If you don't drop your blocker, it's 5-game suspension usually, or 3 or 5, one of those 2. If you drop your gloves, it's usually just 1 game.
Right.
So I didn't drop. I don't remember. I just know that I threw him over, like kind of judo style, over my leg. It was a good actually move. So I took him down, and was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get suspended." So next morning comes, coach calls me in, like, "Hey, you didn't get suspended." Like, okay, so I came back. I was like, "Hey, like I came here on Thursday night. I played Friday, Saturday, and because he wanted me to play again."
Bro.
And I play Friday, Saturday, late, not even adjusted. I was waking up every day at 1, 2 in the morning because just the time difference.
Lag, yeah.
And I was like, hey, I got here on Thursday. Can you play the other goalie? Like, I'm super tired. And we had 3 goalies on the road. So, like, I didn't even have to dress up at the moment. Like, we had Hobie Hedquist, I don't remember the other guy, and he's in a college in Ohio State right now because sometimes he pops out at me on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, I'm tired. And he's like, okay, well, I still want it on a bench. I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm just going to be on the bench, just going to be chilling there. It was not even 10 minutes in a game, we were losing 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
Coach.
You're in, yep.
I was like, okay. Got in a game. Second period, I believe I got scored right away. We were losing 4-0 because one of my guys pushed me away from a crease and they got scored, like a wide open net. Then second period came and Lafreniere actually guided us in. I remember him because it was a really nice goal. No, it's Lafreniere, but I'm thinking Lafreniere. He's in LA Kings.
Okay.
I remember because it was a really nice goal, and he was coming out of the corner, spin-o-rama, shoot it right above my shoulder, like really nice goal, like. And so we were losing 5-4. Then in the second period, I made 2 game-saving stops. Like we were losing 5-4 anyway, but I made 2 good saves. So they made me feel a bit better, even though I didn't start a game. So I kind of didn't lose the game, but it still made me feel a bit better.
Yeah.
We still lost anyway in 5-4. But I was like, okay, I know. At the moment, I knew I'm gonna be playing most of the games.
Yeah.
So USHL kind of story started out of Monday 2 in the morning to me playing 90% of the game for the rest of the season.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump forward a little bit. You go from you play in Dubuque, and then you end up somewhere else in the USHL. Is that the next season? No, you just played in Dubuque?
I just played in Dubuque.
Okay.
Then I went to, the next year I was in pro already.
And that was Rapid City?
That's Rapid City.
So how does that come about? How do you end up in Rapid City? Because you're with the Kings. Rapid City's not with the Kings.
Nope. They never were. But LA Kings never had ECHL affiliate.
Okay.
They never had officially ECHL affiliate the last year. They have it right now.
Yeah, they do now. I guess they were just putting players.
They were putting
a couple players here, a couple players there.
No, everybody was sent down to Greenville.
Oh, right. Okay.
But we already had 2 goalies there. Why would you have 3 goalies for the affiliate that is not even yours?
Yeah.
So I was like, so I was told before the season started, yeah, you're gonna start your season in ECHL. Expected. We have 2 great goalies in AHL. We have Quickie and Peterson in NHL.
Yeah.
Surprising what happened with Cal.
Yeah. Was that yesterday or the day before they sent him down to
2 days ago.
Yeah, he's in Ontario.
And yesterday they sent him down. I was surprised.
After he just signed a 3-year deal. Is this his first season of a 3-year deal?
Yeah, 3 years, $5 million average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it.
I bet he was a little surprised.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I knew I'm going to start in ECHL, but the whole plan was, because there was Garrett Sparks and Matt Vialta in AHL.
Yeah, okay.
Garrett Sparks, interesting dude.
Love
him,
that
though.
guy. He's so entertaining.
He's interesting dude, and I love him from bottom of my heart. Like, he's a very nice guy.
We had him on the show our first season.
Oh.
And just talked about equipment, and he's just insane.
He's great. Like, he's so
much fun.
He's a great guy.
But
I love him.
Insane is a good, he's crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of goalies are.
Yeah. You kind of have to be crazy to be a goalie. Otherwise, you cannot be a goalie. Like, what a normal person would stand in net and be facing those shots?
Yeah, right.
So I knew I'm going to end up in ECHL, and I fought at Greenville. But I was actually on a golf course with Garrett, and he was like, most likely you're not going to go in Greenville. They already have 2 goalies. So I was like, oh, I was told. It was like, no, you're probably going to go to play something like, he said 2 places, and one of them were Rapid City. And I think there was the next day when I went to coach. They called me to coach's office, like, "Hey, you're going to be sent down to ECHL." I was like, "Okay, you're going to Rapid City." And like, my first thought was like, Garrett, you are a dude. Yeah. Like, you are a dude.
He's a student of the game.
Like,
man.
Like, he knows his stuff. So as soon as I walked out of the coach's office, like, guess where I'm being? He knew it. Like, it was like he was talking with the coaches before. Like, it was unreal. Like, I literally couldn't believe it. So I got sent down to Rapid, and they were affiliated with Arizona Coyotes. So they had David Tendek. I played against him in WHL. He was with Vancouver Giants. Great dude. Like, you cannot be. Literally, everyone who knows him will tell you cannot be mad at him. He's like a puppy. You cannot be mad at puppy. Like, you can't even describe. He's generally like a puppy. You can't get mad at him. Like, he's just a great dude that will just go with the flow. Will never disrupt anyone. Like, he gets mad sometimes at his game, but he never got in conflict with anyone.
Yeah, good.
So great dude. And then we had older guys. I got to the camp. We had 5 goalies there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, 5 goalies. One guy signed an NHL deal. The other guys were not. But there was a Cole Kehler.
Okay.
And he was on AHL deals years before. On an AHL deal in Manitoba the year before he went to Rapid. It's like, okay, there's no chance. I'm just 21-year-old, 20-year-old guy signed on AHL deal. Like, there's no chance I'm making the team.
Yeah.
So I was there, went through the camp, went through the games and stuff. Okay, I actually made the team. I was the first 2 guys. It was me and Tandy who made the team first, and then they were deciding who's going to be the third with us. I believe it's Cole Kehler who started with us.
Yeah.
Or Levine. I'm not sure right now. One of those 2 guys. Started as the third goalie. I wasn't even dressed up for the first 2 games of the season. I had my LA Kings goalie coach, and I was not dressed up for the first 2 games. I was in the stands. So I was like, okay, I will need to work hard. Yeah. If I want to make the team, I'm not even dressed up for the first 2 games. I will need to work hard. And that's kind of where it clicks. It's like, okay, this is my team, and I'll do everything to be in the net every single game. And as the season started, they were just switching back and forth. We had 3 goalies. We usually would switch each after 1 game. They were also putting the NHL guy the most.
Right.
Because he's an NHL deal. Is there ECHL affiliate? Like, they have to. It's kind of deal they usually
that's how it goes.
Like, okay, I'm not going to be playing much, but if I work hard, I'll be playing. And we had Scott Bird and Jeremy Gates, both great guys. I love Scott.
Yeah.
I'm actually in contact with him until now. He was one of the first people that texted me after the accident just to make sure I'm all right, because it was all over the league. Like, I got calls even from Tulsa fans, Kansas City fans. I got like texts from everybody. So he's a great dude, and he was like, just work hard and you'll see where you get.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And I really worked so hard on every practice. I was coming out of the practice sweat through, like, you could see the sweat marks on my chest protector, on my pants. Like, you could see, like, I was working hard. And suddenly it started changing. I started playing more and more. Even, unfortunately, Tandy, his name is Tanek, so his nickname was Tandy. It just wasn't his season. Sometimes he played good, sometimes he played bad. There was just unlucky bounces. I remember some games in Tulsa, they have horrible boards, and it was a rimmed puck bounced right in front of a net. You know, it just so I felt so bad sometimes for him. It's like, it's not his fault, but as a goalie, it broke my heart just to see that.
Oh, yeah.
So I started playing more and more, and at the end of the season, I actually became the starter, and I was like, at the end, it doesn't matter in what position you show up in there, you can change the outcome. Like, it's only up to you. It's only up to you. You can...
It's the only thing you can control is you.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, you can have whoever you want in front of you. Yeah. But if you work hard and you'll show them you deserve it, they'll give it to you. You just need to work hard for it.
Yeah.
And it, like, you sometimes go home and, like, can barely walk because of how tired you are. You are literally just crawling out the eyes because, like, you're so tired. It was 100% worth it. Yeah. And I would do it again and again.
I love hearing that, man. I love hearing that. And that was, you guys had an amazing season. And the run you guys had towards the end, and then there were a couple crazy games between you and the Utah Grizzlies.
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, in the playoffs, there's always crazy games, but games where one team's completely getting blown out, and it happened both ways, right? And I think it happened. So, were you in the net in Rapid City when it happened in Rapid City?
I was in the biggest blownouts against Utah. So I have two biggest shutouts against Utah.
Yeah.
Both of the biggest shutouts I ever had. But also, we blown out the game when we played against emergency backup goalie and we lost.
Oh, right.
It was right after Christmas. And
we had him on the show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we had him on the show, the Rapid City goalie. Yeah. And so Utah was trying to get me to go out there, and then I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I was and then so they tried to get my son to go, because we're both, like, my son's a pretty good goalie, and he actually was going to play in Dubuque.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was going to play in Dubuque when, anyway. But they're like, we don't have anybody, and because of COVID, we can't get anybody. And so they ended up using that guy, and you were in the other net.
Yeah, I was in the other net so I played all 4 games right after Christmas, and somebody got called up from Utah.
Yep.
And they were trying to call everybody who they could.
Two goalies got called up.
And yeah, 2 goalies got called up. And then they had to have emergency backup. I was like, I believe it's the 3rd game, because on the 4th game they saw Cole Kehler. It was the 3rd game, and it was horrible. Like, we couldn't hit.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't score. I swear to God, like, that's probably our worst. Like, as much as I love my guys in Rapid, and I love those guys, we sucked that game. Like, we couldn't score for anything. Like, if you would give us $1 million to score, we would not score. Like, we just could not score. Like, and I was just standing in the net. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, we were just getting blown out.
Yeah,
like,
that's gotta be tough from the other perspective.
I was just standing in the other net. I was like, and then, like, I just got scored on bad goals, I believe, in the 4th game. There was some bad goals. We lost like 6-4, and I actually made diving saves in the very last minute for just, I don't know. And I was just sitting, and I was like, there'll be just one of those games that it doesn't matter. We'll lose. Just hockey God will stand by him, and they will win. And yeah, it was a very interesting game. It was something I'll also never forget.
Yeah, I bet. Because, you know, the funny thing about that is well, for one, I ended up backing. You must have gotten pulled up at some point in that season, because I ended up e-bugging for Rapid City that same season. It was just when they were here.
So it was probably in January.
Yeah, probably. I e-bugged a ton that year, and I'm good friends with Scott Burt from back in our Idaho Steelheads days. Oh, yeah. But and Scott, it was so much fun to see him come full circle and watch him coach and bringing out the boombox during practice and playing like Twisted Sister and having a good time. But a few years ago, I guess it was like 5 years ago, and I'm in my mid-40s at the time, I get put in a game. I've been e-bugging for 25 years, and I get put in a game for Utah because our starting goalie took a shot to the face and needed stitches against Rapid City. and it went viral. It went national, and I
saw it on Google. I actually saw it. I kind of did a little research of you.
Oh, okay,
so
nice.
I saw it. Yeah,
nice. At least one of us does research. No, but it was funny because it happened to be against Rapid City, and then it happened again against Rapid City, and Scott was like, I'm looking for every opportunity to put you in for Rapid City, because he's like, we got to break this. We got to break this curse. He's like, it was pretty funny, and I never even thought about it from the other goalie perspective. But I know that there have been times when, even just recently, I played in this big tournament, and I'm like, I know, even at my age, I'm way better than that goalie that's on the other end, and that's saying something because I have a very low bar for myself. And I'm looking at that guy, and I'm like, we should light this guy up. But my guys are not getting any quality shots at all, because what happens is the team plays unreal in front of them, right? The team has to play their best game in front of that goalie that is a funnel.
They blocked so many shots. Like, they did, like, grade A shots, that's probably 1 or 2. Like, they blocked everything. Like, anything they could, they put their face into it. Like, it was unreal. Like, we had one of those games when we were at World Juniors playing against Russia the second year in Edmonton. And we won 2-0 at shutout, 30 safe shutout, and we had 26 or 27 blocked shots. Like, the guys blocked. Like, those are one of the games, like, you will block everything because you're just trying to help the goalie.
So you're in net. I want to talk to you about that. You were in net for that one, and there was no fans, right?
And
was that?
It was because it was right after Chris. Oh, you mean like in the World Juniors?
The World Junior game.
There was no one. It was empty arena.
And you're having one of the best games of your life. One of the most important games of your career so far, and you just have to have your own energy because nobody's cheering you on.
There was no one. Like, yeah, it was like, also happened something to the game, and I will never forget that. I can't say it on podcast because it's really bad what happened, what I was told by somebody. And it really, when I told it to my agent, he was mad. Like, he was really mad.
Wow, the intrigue that you just laid down. Okay, all right, so we're running out of time. There's so much I still want to talk to you about, so I think we're going to push a little bit longer than normal. But I wanted to talk to you about you come to Utah, but let's just talk a little bit. And I don't want you to say any names or get yourself in any trouble. But what is it like? Because each goalie coach that you deal with in the NHL has their own perception of what style is and what works, and it's hard to be a goalie and be like, this is what I've been doing. This is what's worked for me. These are my mechanics. I'm technically sound in the way that I perform, but now you want me to tweak. You don't want me to just tweak one little part. You want me to tweak how I butterfly, how I recover, where my gloves are. Like, how hard is that to do day to day? And do you find that, because like with golf, if you're a decent golfer and then you run into a golf coach and he's like, hey, I'm going to break everything down and make you better. Well, maybe that'll work, or maybe it will not work. Yeah. Maybe you're the new something else. Maybe because Jonathan Quick fought it. So many coaches were like, you can't do this. You can't RVH. What is this thing this RVH you're doing?
Yeah. I would say if you have a new goalie coach, your biggest mindset is like, be open to it. Yeah. Like, you have to be open to what they're trying to say. Don't be bull and just go your way. My way is the highway. That's not the way. Yeah. You have to be. They know what your style is. They know what they're coming into. They know what a person you are. So they know how much they can work with you. So that's what I like about Bootsy, Peter Budai. He's not trying to change me. He's trying to shape me up. He's not trying to change me, and that was my biggest problem. Like before, goalie coaches tried to change me. It's not a style you'll see every day. Like, I have different style than everybody. Yeah, I'm not different like a Jonathan Quick different, but I have my own style. So Bootsy is just trying to shape me down just to clear up my game, and that was the biggest plus for me when I got to Colorado. Like, that helped me a lot.
Okay, so and that's just one of the things I want to talk about. So then you end up in Utah. You have an amazing season, like the season opener, because the Utah fans are short memories like most fans, but one thing they do know is that Trent Miner was unreal last year and set a bunch of records, and then you come in and I'm like, hey man, I can tell. I said on this podcast, I'm like, I know that the two goaltenders that we have going into this season, because everybody in Utah is like, we want to see Metcalf too, and I said, Metcalf's good. He's going to have a hard time fighting into these spots. We've got 3 solid goaltenders coming in, and I was saying Scott Burt, man, he's 100% behind you. He's on your train. So
yeah,
you come in, you have an amazing first game, everything's going well. You're the designated driver all the time, right? You're the sober. Yeah. You told us you don't drink, you don't smoke, you're clean.
Yeah, I don't do anything. Yeah.
And so you're the designated driver. Where were you guys?
We were in Kansas City.
You're in Kansas City. Can you tell us a little bit about? I know you can't. I don't want you to disclose your injury.
Oh, it's already kind of healing up, so it's all right. I've been actually on the ice already.
Oh, nice. So will you kind of step us through what happened that night?
So I was at home. I was at the hotel. Then felt 100%. I had a headache because I need to decide the head on Tuesday game.
Of course.
So I was like kind of probably having concussion. So I was kind of trying to deal with that as well. And guys were drinking and they're like, "Hey, we want to go downtown. Can you drive us?" Like, "Oh yeah, 100%. Like I have no problem with that." For like 20-minute drive. Like, okay, we get like 15 guys in a van, drive there, drop them off, and on the way back, just coming, I am on the phone, having my phone in my lap, and talking, look to the left, and I look back straight right in front of me, and suddenly there's a car, like heading right at my nose. And so my first thought was like, am I even on the right side? My second thought was like, even though I am, I probably should move away. And my third thought was like, okay, no one in the car, let's move to the left. If she still hits me, she hits my passenger side. So everything happened so quickly. My thoughts, luckily, and my reaction is like pretty on point from hockey. So everything happened a little split of a second. I turned to the left, and honestly, I'm not even going to lie, I thought she already passed me. Like it was only half a second, that was the thought, because it just happened so quickly. But I was like, okay, she's already gone. Like she passed me. Like I'm freaking out, but like she missed me. And suddenly, bam. I got hit. I was like, okay. I just hold on the steering wheel, and I just went to the ditch. I couldn't find my phone. Like I was still on the phone. My phone was on speaker, so I could hear. I could hear my girlfriend on the phone, and my phone. So she heard everything. She heard literally everything. So I had her still on the phone, and I was like, okay, I need to get out of the car. I got hit dead straight on. I need to make sure the other person is all right. I would say I ran out of the car, but with broken ribs, you kind of cannot run much, and kind of having bruising from seatbelt and stuff. So I got out of the car, went to the other car. There was already 2 guys trying to help her. The only thing I saw that she was passed out on the steering wheel. And so I got back to my car, found my phone, and I sit on a. It was like a little hill because it was right next to Casey Royal Stadium.
Oh, okay.
So I sit on the hill, and I was like, "Hey, I need to call my coach because the car is rented on him. I need to call 911." Funniest thing, I don't want to. But like it was funny. I'm genuinely not even mad because at the moment it was just funny. I called Snatch.
Okay.
Like, hey Snatch, I just crashed on the highway. I was like, can you drive the van back to hotel? Nothing else. I was like, no, I can't. So then I get off the phone with him, trying to call 911. I was on a waiting line. Somebody already called. Right. That was like a hotel half a mile away. Like people came running from there because it apparently was loud. Yeah. So people came running from there, so they already called 911. So I'm just sitting on the side of the hill. I didn't even look on the other car. I didn't see the front. So I saw the front, and I'll show you. It is something for sure. So this is my van. It's not in such a bad condition.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then if you look on the other car, you can see she hit me dead straight on.
Wow.
So she turned into me. So when I moved away from her, she probably turned into me or whatever happened. I have no clue.
Yeah, so I just saw a picture and we talk about impingement in the fire. Like the entire front end of that car is crushed in.
So I was just waiting on the side of the road for the cops and fire trucks and everybody just arrived. So just sitting on the side of the road, and as much at the moment it's not appropriate to be saying that. It was so cool. So they had to saw her out of the car because all the car was jammed up. It was so cool to see it.
So you got to see an extrication. You got to see.
It was unreal. At the moment, like you're hurt, like you're in the pain. Like I was just seeing that. I was like, that's so cool. Yeah. Like it was so cool to see that. And like I felt like so bad for the person because I don't know what is wrong with her. Like if she's alive or whatever at the moment was. Like she's all right. That's all I know, that she's alive. They still didn't tell me anything. I still don't have police report back. I have nothing. But like it was so cool to see it. So. Firefighter came to me. He was like, hey, we're going to take her to hospital. I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm just going to be sitting here, just wait for the other ambulance. Then the other ambulance came. Was like, hey, can you walk? Like, I was like crunched up to the side because there was like all the seat belts, because as she hit me from right side, like all the seat belt marks, it was like,
yeah,
it was bruised up. So it was like slowly, very slowly, probably solid like 10 meters took me like 10 minutes just to walk. Like it was so slow.
Ugh.
And so I walk in the ambulance and I called our trainers like, hey, you know, I just got in car crash. You probably already know. Snatch probably called you. Like it hurts, but I really don't want to go in hospital. Like I feel like it's pointless. And I got hit on a highway like that straight. Like probably a lot of people will not say that. I was like, I really don't want to go in hospital. He was like, it's your call. I was like, just in case something is broken, because my pelvis was really hurting of the seatbelt and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's just go in hospital just in case. So I got in hospital, went through all the tests. I didn't remember my address where I was living at. Like as bad as it is, I could not remember my address. So 4 police officers, I gave four reports back, tested for DUI, everything. I was cleared up. Like they're like, you have 0.00, like you're totally clear, like you're fine. So I got tested for everything. 4 police officers came to me asking for my address and all the information. Yeah. I had to Google it every single time. Not joking. And like when the 4th or the 3rd police officer came to me and asked me for it again, I was like, I swear to God, if someone else will come to me and ask for my address.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't remember it. Like, I could not.
And we all do it. And sometimes a lot of times we ask those questions. We'll be like, hey, do you know where you live? Do you know where you're at? We're just trying to see if you're alert and oriented. But a lot of times, everybody has their own paperwork to do, too. It's ridiculous that you get asked that many questions.
And it's like, I know where I live. I just could not remember.
It's also ridiculous that they asked you to walk to the ambulance, because just off what I've seen with mechanism of injury is what that's called, you're at a high risk for serious injury.
Yeah.
So they should have taken a different approach for sure. So you go to the hospital, you get checked out.
They asked me if I could walk or if I want to walk. I was like, I can.
Yeah, but you're not the medical professional. You're also, you know what I mean? At some point,
hockey players. We are not.
Exactly.
We're not some light dudes. We know what we are going for on the ice.
If it was a soccer player, they would have been begging for a helicopter. Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, you get to the hospital, you find out you got some injuries.
So yeah, I spent 2 days in hospital. I was my piker was there with me.
Yeah.
So he brought me sometimes some food, some snacks. So it was cool with him.
Nice.
I got released after 2 days in hospital. I went to a hotel, and some of the muscles were like stuck between the broken ribs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it was like horrible to walk because like literally everybody was looking at me like I was mentally disabled. And because right after we got out of hospital, I was like, I want burger. Like I want burger so badly.
Oh yeah.
So we went to Buffalo.
A greasy burger.
Oh, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. Like everybody was looking at me like I was mentally disabled. And like I don't blame them. Like the way I was walking and the way I was like crouching, I was like, okay, you can kind of tell like something is wrong with me. But so I walked to the table, sat down, ate, then went to a hotel. And as I was laying on the hotel, because the beds in hospital are super hard, so you kind of cannot fully relax.
Oh, right.
And as soon as I got to hotel and I relaxed and my back got kind of relaxed a little bit, all the muscles got detached from the broken ribs.
Oh.
I finally could walk. It was such a I never was more grateful to be actually able to normally walk.
Yeah.
And then, when then I finally got back on the ice 2 days back, I genuinely stepped on the ice and almost cried. Like I was so grateful because it could have been much worse than it was. Like I got out of the car accident with the least I could probably get.
So she was a wrong way driver, right? So the person that hit you was on your side of the road.
Correct. There was
she was a DUI, right? She was intoxicated.
I have no clue.
Oh,
I still don't have police report back. I have no clue.
All right, I shouldn't say that, but that was the information I was given, and it's probably wrong.
It could be right.
I didn't vet the source. I think the source was Coach Kanasowicz, or
could be
maybe one of the news articles I read.
It could be. I don't have police report back. The only article I saw, it was just that was a wrong way driver, probably DUI, and that was the only article.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
that'll protect us.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we've been here a lot. Normally we go 45 minutes. I think we've been going for an hour, and I just I
don't even know.
It's you've got such a cool story, and it's good to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you, and it's weird that's the weird thing about being an e-bug is I don't usually get to meet the good goalie or the starting goalie, right? They're usually up in the A when I get to go e-bug. So, man, I know Rapid City thought the world of you, and we're glad to have you here in Utah, and hopefully this is going to be an unreal year and get you back in the mix, man. Get you back fighting, and So you're under contract with Colorado
Eagles.
With the Eagles,
So
you got an AHL deal.
I'm happy. I'm fighting for my NHL deal this year.
Yeah.
I was fighting for it last year. Didn't work out at LA Kings, so fighting for one this year.
Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
You're 21.
So
it's 6'4"?
6'4", 205 right now.
6'4", 205.
I was a big boy last year. I was 230 last year. I was a big boy.
Yeah.
I had to lose it. Like LA Kings were complaining about it. I was like, I got to camp 230. I was talking with condition coaches, and I got to camp 230. I was like, we don't want you at 230.
Yeah.
Even Todd, their head coach, came to me. He's like, what are you thinking coming in a camp with 230? I was like I talked with everybody about it. Like they were fine.
Yeah.
Suddenly now it's a problem. So yeah,
you just found out about American greasy food. Of course, you're gonna be 230.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, we're excited to have you, and I'm super glad you came on the show today. And hopefully, this answers a lot of questions for the fans that are out there. And I know we'll post this, and I know a bunch of Rapid City people, and probably even people. All your billets will be wanting to listen to it, and
Probably, yeah.
This is a good way to catch up on you and see how everything's going.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're excited about it. Utah Grizzlies are on the road this week, and then they're back home next week. You guys barely had any home games.
We are still on the road next week.
Oh, okay. So, but you're back on the 17th and 18th.
Yeah, we're in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Iceman.
Jacksonville. And it's like you guys barely had any home games the first.
We didn't have much.
So that means the next half of the season, there's going to be a ton of home games, and we'll get to see you play. Man, I used to be a tall goalie, and now I walk, and it's not just because I got older and shorter, which that definitely did happen, but you guys are all so tall now. It's awesome. We didn't even get to talk about gear, which is another thing our fans love to hear. Real quick, what do you wear?
I wear Bauer. At the moment, I wear Bauer. I was signed with them last year. Not signed with them this year, so I'm kind of open to anybody, but I love Bauer.
So you want to switch to Brian's is what I'm hearing?
Nope. No, if I would switch, it could be probably to Juan.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same manufacturer now.
Is it?
Yeah, not everybody knows that. Vaughn and Brian's are out of the same. Almost everything's made the same now.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just a big Brian's guy. I would just kind of joke that. So anyway, all right, man. Lucas, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll be back next week with more crazy stories from Utah hockey, and that is the Utah Puck Report.